Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. This is John from Cloud Tech Insights. In today's session, we'll be talking about how to host a model on SageMaker. The last couple of series have been focusing on Amazon Bedrock and why now SageMaker. Because Bedrock makes life so much easier, but why we need SageMaker. There are a couple of reasons why customers or in general users go for SageMaker. SageMaker offers hosting open source model as well as proprietary models compared to Amazon Bedrock. There are a couple of options in Hugging Face that you can opt in and you host those models and get the response that you're looking for. And the second reason is SageMaker, the hosting the model is very cost effective. So if you know what type of workload, the usage patterns, if you understand those information, then SageMaker would be another workload cost optimized option to host your LLM and get the response. If you know your workload is consistent, not spiky or once in a while kind of spike or on demand kind of thing, don't use SageMaker. But if it's consistent, the usage pattern, number of users, number of instances needed, then you go for SageMaker. Because SageMaker, you just pay for the instances, the infrastructure, maybe a little bit of the license when it comes to proprietary models, but otherwise is you just pay for infrastructure. So the third reason is SageMaker, you can go for advanced LLM ops, you can go for training, you can go for fine tuning, and especially reinforcement learning with human feedback. That's the most important part. That's the next phase where these people will start tuning the model based on their responses, based on the reward model that they have. It constantly monitors the model response and inform the user or the organization that model is deviating from certain expected behavior, or you retrain the model with the labeled data set to get the best out of each and every model that you're looking for. So that's the next step. That's the future where people are heading. And these are the couple of reasons, and there are many more reasons why you want to host a model on SageMaker. But compared to Amazon Bedrock, SageMaker, there is a severe overhead management. You will have to host the model, you'll have to pick the instances, you'll have to make sure some of those number of instances are rightly available, whereas Bedrock takes care of all those things. You just need to worry about which model to play with, and you can quickly prototype on Bedrock compared to SageMaker. But I would say SageMaker is also good when it comes to quickly hosting it and playing with it. So without much talking, let's get to the demo. Look how the SageMaker looks like, how to host a model and invoke the endpoint, get the response that you're looking for.
So let's go to the SageMaker console. In the SageMaker console, this is the SageMaker console, and you have different version options to run your code or host your ML model. So we are going to use the SageMaker Studio for this code example. So I'm going to click on the studio right here, open the studio, and it takes you to a different interface. And this is where you have all the options to browse the models as well as host the model. Pretty much it covers all the LLM ops in the SageMaker Studio. So before we start, I want to go through the model. So if you look at the left side menu and click on the Jumpstart, you can see some of those pre-trained models available, which is also from open source. It's offered by some of the, also a lot of models coming from Hugging Face as well. So there are like 336 models, there are 36 models on Meta. So there you have different options. So like I said, there are models available, which is proprietary plus open source on SageMaker. So that's the main advantage. And you can always start from an open source model, see if it fits, and then move to a proprietary model. Or if the risk is high, then you start with a proprietary model. But one thing I would highlight is the Anthropic is not available as of now. So in the future, it might be available. Providers that are available right now is Meta, AI21, Stability.ai, Cohere, and some of the open source models from Hugging Face. So let's quickly go to the Hugging Face. I think I like to start with some of the Hugging Face model. So you have like Mistral GPT J6P. I think this is the model I always started with. It's a very small model. It can be hosted in a lesser memory. So going to the GPT-J6P. I'm looking at different explanation of this model, what it is used for. All the information will be provided here, and especially what to use, how the output can be expected. Once you take a look at the definition, all the information regarding the model, you can also go to the notebooks page right here, which shows how to host the model and how to deploy the model, create the inference, and get the response from these models. So what we can do is we can open this in a Jupyter notebook. The studio is already created, and all I have to do is click on the open Jupyter notebook, and it gives you options, and then from these options you can pick and choose the studio, and then it gets deployed. The notebook's deployed into the studio, and then you can execute on the studio. So now the Amazon Studio Jupyter Notebook is open, it's ready to go. So you see the same code being displayed here. All we need to do is go to one of these cells and hit Shift Return, or just hit the play button on the top. Either way, it just runs these models. So it goes through, it imports a library. We are mentioning that GPT-J6P is the one that I need to deploy, and then you accept the EULA. So that's done, and then you deploy a model. So model deployment is using a simple method called jumpstart, and then you provide the model ID here, and also you can also provide the model version if there are multiple versions of the same model. So in this GPT-J6P, let's keep it simple. We just say model ID equal to model ID, which is right here, Hugging Face Text Generation GPT-J6P. So that's being inputted here, and then comes the deployment part. So these are the, I would say these are like 4-liner max, and you're already deploying the model, and deployment of these model would take some time. Model.deploy is basically creating a container behind the scene, hosting this LLM model on it, and then ensuring that it's also available as an endpoint in SageMaker instance. So if you give it a few minutes, it will host the model and provide you an inference endpoint so that you can play with the endpoint and then get the response from the model. The model predictor that has been complete and it's been deployed, and you can go to the studio window right here under deployment. You can click on the endpoints, and you can see the endpoint being deployed right here. So GPT-J6P is being deployed, and you can use the endpoint and get the information or the response that you're looking for. So going back to the notebook, we have some example payloads which is hosted by SageMaker. We pretty much get all those payload information, and one by one we are executing the model. Basically it's passing an input and looking for completing the sentence here. So, and then you get the response back from the model right here, and that response goes in the output section. So the input will be printed out here, and the corresponding response will be printed out from the model. So here we go, it's executing. Okay, so it's basically trying to complete the sentence and giving all the information that you're looking for. So this is how you host a model and invoke the model on SageMaker. Like I said, this endpoint right here will be hosted on the G5 instance right here, G5 large instance, and if your workload and usage workload and on-demand basis, I would say stay away from SageMaker, stick to Amazon Bedrock. But if your workload is more consistent and not a spiky workload, then I would say SageMaker makes more sense, and especially if you're using models from Hugging Face, or if you want to use model that is custom made, you can always use SageMaker, host a model, and you can do some of the advanced training techniques and LLM ops on SageMaker as well. When it comes compared to Bedrock, you are doing a lot of heavy lifting on SageMaker, but you are also having a cost optimized, more customizable, more options to host a model, run inference, etc. on SageMaker.
With that, I'm wrapping up the video, and if you like this video, hit the like button and also subscribe the channel for the latest information. Signing off, John.